So it's the start of a new year, and I'd like to do something just a little bit different with these Patreon videos. I want them to be just a little bit more interactive. And I thought, what better way to start out this year than a 3D printer build where we do it together. Now, of course, I'll be doing all the physical building, but I'd like a lot of the suggestions on what we do and how we do it to come from you all. I do have a few stipulations. It is the year 2020, so I'd like to build the whole thing out of 2020 extrusion. So maybe a printer that's pretty small, but maybe fast and high in accuracy. That'd be a pretty interesting build. And I also want to build it using exoslides. And if you don't know what an exoslide is, let me show you. Exoslides are pre-made carriages that are designed to run on the outside faces of extrusion. They have these bearings on both sides, and you can use them in a box formation all the way around the extrusion to create a really rigid design. Now, most of the time when you see exoslides, they're being used as a replacement for an existing 3D printer, but I think they could allow us to get really creative with a brand new design from scratch. So I think this would be a great place to start. So outside of the extrusion and the exoslides, everything else is pretty much up for grabs. And if you've never built a 3D printer from scratch before, you probably don't realize how many different options there are. Not even just the kinematics like I3 or cantilever or Core XY, but the part decisions. I do have quite a few spare parts, but which one should we go with? Should we go with a Mosquito Hotend or a V6? What extruder do we want to use? What mainboard do we want to use? 8-bit, 32? Should we go cheap like SKR? Or should we go with something like a Duet or an Arkham Ultimachine board? There's so many different decisions to make, and I'm really interested to see how this whole thing plays out. So there really is no time limit here. We can take as much time as we'd like to build this thing, but eventually I would like to get it out to some of the shows so I can show the community what we built together. I think this is a really interesting opportunity. Also, it gives me the excuse to get more Patreon updates out. I can show you sketches, 3D models, and we can do live streams where we build some of this step by step. So that's always entertaining. So let me know what you think. What should we build? How should we build it? Do you think this is a terrible idea altogether to build a printer with the community? Well, that we're going to find out. As always, a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. You make a lot of these projects possible, and I'll see you on the next coffee break.